Yo, headbutts and slow blinks, good people. It's your boy Sterling, Trap King Davis, and
I'm Shannon Jackson, and Smush is here, but she's in the other room. She's feeling a little camera shy today.
and this is the Same Team Podcast.
And I'm in my new pod closet here.
Shannon is back in the closet, y'all.
Just for the podcast, though. Out all the way, flying all my rainbows. It's true, you know.
So we gotta before we even get started, we need to give a shout out, a heartfelt shout out to everybody, all the families and everybody in Ukraine. Some of the events and things that's been going on this past week. I'm Even though I'm a military man, I'm not I can honestly say I'm not a man of war. So in any event, it hurts to hear, it hurts to see some of the pictures with social media. We are flooded with so much information and access to stuff. So I keep seeing it. Me and Shannon was just talking about it. So we got to acknowledge that first.
Yeah, it's so heartbreaking. I just saw on one of my friends on Instagram had posted some of the pictures of people with their animals, and it's just cuts deep inside just thinking about, this could happen anywhere. And so we're just thinking about you. I know that I have had a couple chats with people in Ukraine from Smush, because Smush is, global. Yeah. But the social media, it just really brings it close. Sterling and I were just talking about that, how, you can just go on your phone and see what's actually happening. And it's just heartbreaking. And
you said you were saying too, if people wanted to donate, wasn't it
the Dodo has an article. I'm going to post it later today from Smush. There's an article that the Dodo did a couple days ago that has all of the places where you can donate. I was looking for a place to do a fundraiser from Smush and just feeling helpless because I don't know, it's difficult to donate internationally sometimes as it is. So the Dodo had already put a bunch of different orgs, and there's a couple different ways to donate. So we can post that also from the Same Team Podcast Instagram and Facebook too.
Yeah, we just had to get that out there because that's been a big deal before we get into this all the other crazy stuff, like before, like in the process of actually recording this. I mean, everything, my whole laptop shut down.
Yeah.
We've been going through it. Y'all wouldn't be able to see all of that part, but it's been kind of crazy trying to get to this, but it'd be like that sometimes. We all good now, ready to start the show.
Yeah, just needed to get a new cord. Sterling and I were recording, and we record on Zoom, and then we have our video up here, and all of a sudden he was gone and it was just me. I was like, hey, we were in the middle of talking too. So now we are ready to do our second episode. Hopefully you guys listened last week and liked what you heard. I have realized that I say the word like a lot, so I want to stop that. It's really difficult. I don't know why.
We're gonna put a like counter up on the corner.
I know. I even now I'm afraid to not afraid, but I'm very aware of my thought process in my mind before the word comes out. Like, don't say like. I don't think that way, but
I think that I'm saying it just as much as you said it though. So I feel like I already said like 6 times.
Right. Yeah. I probably said it at about 100. It's all good. Whatever.
We gotta get into this before we even get into smushing the beef of some of these situations. I gotta ask, is your plumbing okay?
Oh, good Lord. So those of you who have followed me online know that I had a catastrophe this week, which is funny because Sterling also has a plumbing issue in the RV. My plumbing problem was my own fault. I put tampons down the drain. So ladies, don't do that. So there was something really gross in my bathtub. It was very gross. And, life happened. The plumber came and yeah, tampons.
My my issues on the RV came from this ongoing battle with Camping World that is just been a thorn in my side. Like Camping World has made it very difficult. I love my RV. I love the lifestyle, everything, but Camping World has made this extremely difficult. So finally got it right. Finally got my plumbing and everything in my toilet, my sanitary tank and everything good. We're good to go.
Yeah.
So, but it's been a mess. That's why I had to ask Shannon that. Like, is your plumbing okay? I know that was a real
Yeah.
question, but
Yeah, my plumbing's okay. I don't know what it is this week, but it seems that there have been a lot of plumbing issues out there with those people that we know.
right,
What does
right.
that mean? There must be some symbolism with water coming out and
But
shit coming out.
now, see, my grandma and her buddies would be like, "That's something on the lottery. We got to play a lottery." What they'll be looking up, what does bad plumbing mean, so we can play that on the lottery.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Yeah.
But for this episode number 2, we thought it'd only be right to go ahead and smush some of our beef.
Yeah.
For smush the beef. So we wanted to I'm gonna actually let Shannon start a little bit
Mhm.
with something that we both feel passionately about and both have been through.
Yeah.
Trying to smush the beef with some of the mean cat folks that we done came across. We know how chatty
Yeah.
it could be. Shannon, we know you done
Catty.
had
Cat
situations
and
too.
well, it's funny because okay, so Sterling and I are not perfect people. And before we were who we are online, we're just regular volunteers within rescue. Sterling actually you worked for a rescue
Yeah, I did
in
work
the
for I was
beginning.
employed for a minute.
And I have also worked within animal welfare professionally as a photographer. But anyway, it doesn't matter where you go within rescue, cat, dog, guinea pig, hedgehog, whatever, I'm sure. Um, a lot of times animal people are not people. So
That's
this is Sterling and I were talking before because Sterling and I are both people. Both of us are like,
right.
hey, wow, what's happening?
I
Everybody,
want to
let's
just
get
hug
together.
everybody.
Yeah. But okay, so I'm gonna be honest though. I can be get really impatient and annoyed with certain types of personalities that are a lot more prickly, I want to say, than mine.
Spicy.
Icy, yeah. And I can also be, I don't want to say a gossip, but I do like to hear the tea. I love listening to the tea.
Go ahead, spill it. Go
I'm
ahead.
just being honest. It's true. I and then I can be I feel like sometimes I can be a little judgmental towards people to where I am sort of like, that bitch, I can't believe they act like that. So anyway, that said, I have encountered many different types of people within my travels within animal welfare. I feel fortunate and a little different because of my being a photographer, and that's the way that I volunteer. So a lot of times I feel that I am almost like a fly on the wall between others, but I will hear people being so nasty about not just other people within rescue, but also even people that are coming to adoptions
Right.
and being real judgmental like that. Now, this is where my problem will be because I will be at a rescue or whatever, and I'll be witnessing this because I try to be open and listen to people and see people for who they are, whatever. even if they're an asshole, sometimes to my detriment, but I'm working on that in therapy. But but anyway, I sometimes can just get just almost like I'm above it and just feel like fuck that and not want to go around a certain rescue because of all the mean girls
Yeah.
that are being nasty, not just to each other, or one clique is being one way within the rescue to another, or even just to people coming up, making judgments about people that are coming up to adopt animals or whatever. But then I can let that negativity go into me when it should be, I feel that what I'm working on is to not let that get into me and talking about it, because it just brings more negativity. Do you know what I mean?
You don't want to fall into the negativity with them, and then before you know
Right.
it, you in
I'm
there.
just, yeah, because then I'm just as bad. But,
That's yeah.
sometimes people are not very nice. And so, but then you've got the one saying, oh, this person is doing this and this person is doing this. And then I can be like, oh, well, that's really terrible. And then, but I'll also be like, what
Yeah,
else
yeah.
do they say? But then it's kind of
You like that's horrible, but tell me
but
more.
yeah. But yeah, tell me more. And that's just, I'm a human being. And I mean, hello, who doesn't? I like other people's drama, not my own personally.
Right. That's why that's probably is that maybe that's a photographer thing. Like maybe being able to be a fly on the wall and you can see
Yeah.
it but not really get all in it.
Right. Cause I'm not really in it,
Right,
but
right.
I am always listening and watching. I always tell people that you never know what I'm seeing or hearing.
Yeah.
But I'm sure other people that are listening out there who volunteer in more creative ways probably feel the same, where you might be around and you're hearing this or that, or maybe you're even participating in it. I don't know. I mean, we're all different people. But I guess, like, as far as smushing the beef, I I feel that I am trying to be less judgmental towards the people that are acting that way and contributing to just talking shit behind their backs because they're being terrible, and seeing them as a human also within that wants to help animals. And so I know personally, and it's something that I know is a strength of mine, I can put those things aside and go about my business and continue to help animals. But on the inside, sometimes when I go home and maybe I'm editing photos and I'm like, God, I can't believe that person acted that way. And so anyway, that's something that I think that probably a lot of people out there listening probably can relate to in some way or another. I just wanted to talk about my personal experience because I'm trying to be less like that, and more, I don't know what the word I'm looking for, but more be I want to be more of a solution than contributing to the problem. Because if I'm getting all in on the conversation that's not good, I don't know, like, I
Right. You
don't
might
even
be
know what to
adding,
say
you
about it.
might
It's
be making it, you might be adding to the bad or the negativity. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
because somebody could be like, well, Shannon said that this person did this when
right,
she was there. And
right.
so I don't want to be like that. But sometimes, I mean, but that's why it's important to have people that you trust, that you can talk to, but
Yeah.
you never know who might be listening to you talking. And so something that I've learned too about conversations and things that I say, I'm trying to be more mindful about, is it necessary? This is like a total therapy thing. It's like, is it necessary? Is it true? And does this make the world better? And I'm like, me spilling the tea is not really making the world better.
Right,
So,
right, right.
but I can't help it because I'm like.
Sometimes
But
you
yeah,
just in the room. I've been just in the room. I've had that happen where some people over there are spilling tea and I just happen to be in the room, and then it comes out as Trap King was over there talking with so and so and this, and it's like I was in the room, but they was over
yeah,
there. I was over there with the kittens. But
right,
but
right.
that's what it is when you contribute to that stuff or even listening to it, being around it. So yeah.
Yeah. I think too that something that with all of that that I've been trying to do is open up conversations with the actual people rather than just go about my business and talk to somebody else and say, "Oh, I wish they weren't like that." But maybe try to have a conversation with the person. Because most of the time, if somebody's being really negative or not very nice or mean, um, there's a reason why the person is acting that way too.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times people have see a lot of stuff that maybe has affected them on the inside and it's really upset and maybe they're acting a certain way towards somebody else that really has nothing to
It could
do
be
at
just
all.
a crappy day. Like this
Yeah,
like this day was trying to stop us from doing the podcast. It could be just a tough day and
yeah,
somebody mad, upset. But I mean, that's good. You got smush the beef with overreacting. Smush the
yeah,
beef
and
with mean cat ladies.
yeah, and smush the beef inside your mind rather than be like, yeah, all these mean people,
Right.
because there are a lot of not um I don't know, like I said before, a lot of animal people love animals so much because they've been burned by human
Yeah,
beings.
yeah.
You
That's
know,
true.
not everybody is like you and I, Sterling, like because
Like,
we're a lot more peoply.
yeah, we're more peoply. But like you
We're more
said, though, in the
peoply.
beginning, a lot of rescue, cat rescue, and just rescue people, period, aren't usually people. So we got to take that into consideration a lot of times. A lot of, like you said, a lot of people
Right,
do get into it because, they done with people. Like, I am done with the people. I'm about my animals, and that's it. So
right, right.
get it, gotta
And
get it.
yeah, and I think sometimes too, even if you might it might be easier to be annoyed with somebody and then just go about your business and be like, wow, that person just acted like a bitch to me. Maybe actually ask them, hey, are you okay?
Right.
And open up a conversation. And maybe you'll even make a friend that you wouldn't even know. I know that that has happened with me before where I've been around somebody who maybe was acting a certain way and then they ended up telling me, oh, I just had to euthanize an animal right before this, like a vet or something. I'm using that as an example
Right.
of something,
But you never
uh,
know. You
you
never
never
know
know.
what somebody's going through. So that make
Yeah,
that make a lot
i'm
of sense.
I'm sure that there are times that I have been out doing something and you never know how it's going to be perceived either. Like maybe I would be short with somebody because I was in the middle of trying to do something and just a lot of people want to talk to me and I just feel like I need to be focused and it really is not even being I wouldn't even realize that I was being rude.
Yeah, yeah, because you just go, and I've been like, I know I've been like that where I'm just tunnel vision. Oh, smush,
Smush is here to smush the beef.
smush. We were smushing the beef. You had to come through and make sure that we smush it right.
Yeah, she did. All of a sudden she appeared.
She was
Sterling
like,
and I were trying to get Smush to come in here in the beginning before and now she can't she does what she wants. Oh my gosh, she's
look.
bye
She like
bye.
smush it, smush
She's like, gotta go. But
it.
yeah. So I don't know. I feel that that is something that I struggle with. Being someone who is really peace and love and tries to live an authentic life, I get really frustrated with people that don't. And
Right.
so then I want to be part of the solution. So I feel though, even though I do have an ability to bring people together, and I know that because and I think that's probably also why you and I are doing this podcast, Sterling, because we have a way about us that tries to bring people together because we care about humans and animals both. But
Oh,
but I get really frustrated because I feel like I spend a lot of time trying to bring people together, and so then sometimes when people aren't receptive to that, I feel discouraged, and then rather than continue on or talk about it, I just it can it can be something that deters me for continuing on in my pursuits to help animals and be a part of the community of animal welfare people everywhere, you know?
That negative energy weighs. It's heavy.
Yeah.
It's heavy.
Yeah.
So, if you don't want to, if you carry that, you get sucked into that, then you become it, then it's hurting the mission, regardless of
Yeah.
the people, the humans involved. If we gonna help the animals, then we got to smush that beef, baby. We
Yeah.
got.
Yeah. And yeah, we do. And I think too, when these things are going on, I do think it is important to have safe people to talk to that you know you can trust, because it is important to have people to talk to. They always ask you that in the workplace. I've taken polls at my workplaces. Like where they'll ask you if you have a best friend at work. I feel like even when you're volunteering or anytime there's people, and if you're in a team situation where it should be a team, it's important to have people to trust to talk
Yeah.
to privately.
I tell people, I say with therapy all the time, because I'm always, I mean, me and you both always,
Yeah.
you know, promoting therapy. But I tell people all the time, even if you dealing with a therapist that's not necessarily great, or, just having somebody for an hour to sit down and talk to you and help you sort things out can be good. Even if it's just somebody to just listen to you rant, go on for an hour, I think it's still good. It can have positive effects to have just somebody there to talk to. So I'm definitely down with that. Like, I think that's cool that they do that at the workplace, to say,
Yeah.
hey, do you have a work friend? Because just
Mhm.
like me, like I've done, a lot of cat folks, a lot of rescue folks, I bet you they like, well, I just talk to my cats. I just talk to my dogs. And it's like, yeah,
Mhm.
but you need a human to be able to vent and talk with that too, and get that out, because sometimes that's all that's needed. Sometimes that's all that's needed when we go there, or when people bring it to us. It's just, a misunderstanding, probably not as serious as we built it up. Because I know me, my smush the beef moment that I want to talk about, and I actually calling out a name. I'm saying a name here.
Yeah, we were talking this week. I'm like, I'm not name dropping anything
I'm,
here. It's
I'm name
Sterling's like,
dropping. I'm like, I'm name dropping, because I was mad. I was hurt. My feelings was hurt, and I'm like, that's what it's about. Same teapot. I'm gonna smush the beef. I'm gonna talk about it because I was hurt. So my issue, I'm smushing the beef, is with Jackson Galaxy and Cat Camp, because I was extremely hurt. And I say this all the time, like, again, misunderstanding, because behind the scenes, when I first got started, I was talking with Jackson and Cat Camp, and it was one of the cat. At first, it was CatCon. CatCon was the first event I went to, and then Cat Camp was the second one. So I'm getting invited to all of these different places, and I'm loving it. But I got to meet Jackson Galaxy, so I met Jackson. I went to Cat Camp. It was amazing. Worked with Kitten Lady, Art Sassy, everybody I'm meeting, Lil Bub. I'm like, man, this is dope. And I was, happy to be there. And then next year, I'm excited. I got all these plans of what I'm about to do at Cat Cap this year, and I ain't get a call back. I was like, what, what's up with that? And I was legit mad, like feelings hurt, big
yeah.
time mad at Jackson, at Cat Camp. And I'm like, I took it personally for a minute. And that's where I say you gotta, this would be me smushing the beef with completely overthinking the situation. Folks
Mm.
be busy. It's all type of stuff going on. You don't know what other people doing or why it is. And of course, in this case, Jackson Galaxy is extremely busy. So him not calling me back or reaching out is not a big deal. But in my mind, I had already built up a reason, a negative scenario. They don't like me no more. Oh, it's like that. It got to be like that. And I'm mad. And it's not absolutely nothing has went wrong. And I know in rescue, people, we do that so many times. You call out and be like, hey, you gonna come help me trap? Somebody don't call you back. You done already built up a story why they didn't call you back. You got an answer to it and everything. You just mad. Look at Smush. Smush like,
He
yeah.
wants to smush the beef right now.
She like smush that beef with Jackson and Cat Cap. And this the thing too about it. A lot of times that beef might just be on your end. Because if you ask
Right.
Jackson and Cat Cap, they probably be like, what no beef? What you talking about? So
Yeah.
literally just in my head, and and that's been not just with that situation, but like I said, it could be with a feeder, with anybody, where you overreact. You take something, you don't hear the response as soon as you want to hear it or how you want to hear it. And then before you know it, you've created a villain or a bad guy in your head, and that's not even the case. It's not even what's going on. So
Right.
you
Yeah.
gotta smush the beef with the overthinking and creating villains in your head, because a lot of times that's what it is. That beef just be within yourself.
Right.
So
Yeah. Right. Because that probably, I mean, I've been in the same situation, not with Jackson Galaxy. Although Jackson Galaxy, I've watched so much My Cat from Hell when Smush was a kitten, because Smush had so many behavioral issues and it helped me. So Jackson, if you're listening, thanks for helping me
vertical spacing, vertical
with this
spacing.
little queen. Oh my God. Smush is very excited of looking.
Smush, you all it. What's going on, Smush?
I don't know. She knew we were smushing these beefs, but
I
as
need
far as
to meet that.
overthinking that overthinking needs to be smushed,
Right.
because honestly, even so many times we create scenarios in our heads about things that have not even happened, and then we react to those, and then we're being a part of the issue within division within animal welfare. um
Yeah.
so I totally relate to that, just in general.
Yeah.
If somebody doesn't text me back, I'll be like, oh, did I do something? And that's just me,
Yeah.
but I'm working on that. I'm working on that in therapy. It's that just because somebody is not available right then doesn't
Right.
mean that they don't care about me or whatever. I mean, it's the same thing. It's like, if I don't get invited to something, it has nothing to do with anything. I mean,
Right.
maybe,
It could
you
be,
know,
and this is the thing, and here's the thing about it too. When I finally, because I talked with some folks after the situation, after I did the next cat camp and I wasn't there, and I talked to some people about it, and it was like, they going in a different direction, and you want them to highlight other situations, other people. You want them to talk about different subjects. It would be crazy to have the same person come in and talk about TNR, the same thing. You want other people. So like when you sit down and you think about it, most times it's probably in your head. It's not even that serious of a deal. Like and again, I've been like that so many times. My friend, I got a buddy named Renardo, who I went to high school with. And Renardo is always good at bringing me back down, and it'll just be simple, like, well, Sterl, man, did you know how busy you are? I've been trying to call you for like 2 weeks. You
right?
haven't answered the phone. And I'm like, yeah, but man, I got a bunch going on. Okay, well, why don't they have a bunch of stuff going on? Why does it have to be something personal towards you? And who do you think you are that somebody got to just bam pick up when you call? Like what the
Right.
world ain't revolving around your hips.
That's so funny, because that's so true. That's so true, because a lot of times I'll be in a similar situation where I might not get back to somebody right away, or maybe I'm hosting, like I did Smush Miss Live. I didn't invite everybody to come on to my Smush Miss Live back in December, just because I just only had so many slots, and it had nothing to do with the people that I didn't invite, whether or not I like them or not. But I could see, if I wasn't invited, like you, I could understand
Yeah.
that. If I wasn't invited to Cat Camp or Cat Con or whatever, I'd be like, oh, thinking that it was personal.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't want somebody doing that with me, saying, oh, well, Shannon didn't invite me to Smush Miss, so, blah, 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 this and that. But it's really, if you put it onto yourself and thinking how you would react, I think it helps to put things into perspective. with that kind of thing and the overthinking. It's so hard though, because we're human.
We humans, and that's why you said it best. Smush the overthinking, because it's
Yeah.
a lot of times, like I just said, that whole situation, that was a beef with Jackson and Cat Camp that only existed in my
In
head.
your head. Yeah.
Because
No, I've had it happen too, where I've had situations where I have a whole scenario in my head, and then I find out that whoever, like whatever it was about, they had no idea that
none.
I have this whole drama going on in my mind that has nothing to do with anything but me feeling left out or feeling insecure or what, because we're all human and everybody wants to be a part of things. So when you're not, yeah, I
Oh yeah.
mean,
If you don't get that call back, or that text back about that trap or about that feed, and just take a deep breath. It's gonna be
mhm,
okay. It's probably not what you're thinking. It's probably not anything.
yeah,
So
yeah,
definitely smush the overthinking, because
smush the overthinking.
I've that's definitely mine's, because like I said, and not even just with that situation. It's been things with Tabby dates that I've been doing, and it's somebody that want to do something with Tabby, and I'm like, man, y'all don't even want to work with us, like, and you,
Right,
before you know it, you think they got a issue with dating apps, with cat dating apps, but really
yeah,
it's nothing. It's nothing wrong. You didn't overthought
right.
it. So
But
I've
what's
definitely
funny? It's funny about that because I think about you and I and how busy we both are, and we cannot talk for long periods of time, or like one of us doesn't respond, but it's okay. But
right, right.
but I think because we have that understanding, but I think sometimes when we don't have that understanding with somebody, that I mean, I would never feel like, oh my God, Sterling hates me now because
Mhm.
he didn't text me back. Because I know that he lives in his RV and and is out trapping cats, and I'm just in my closet. Just kidding. But I mean, a lot of the things that I do are virtual or out, I'm out wandering around with my camera or whatever. But I know that we have trust. So
That's a
it's
good
almost,
point, though. That's a good
yeah,
point that you say that, because that's what it is. That's why that's important, to get to know somebody and
yeah,
communicate before you just assume, because that is true with me and you. Me, even before, well, upon starting this, we will go a minute without speaking, but then as soon as we talk, it's like bam, like we never stop talking, and it's cool. But I
right.
guess because we do know each other and we have that, it's easier
Yeah.
to understand. Like I've been over your house. I know you
Yeah.
working. I know you got a regular job outside
Right.
of just
I know.
all of this stuff that you doing. So I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
But a lot of times, if we don't know one another that way, or if we don't communicate like that, then it is easy to just leave room and guess
Yeah.
or assume the worst, so to speak.
Right. Yeah, it is. It is. It's very interesting because I know that some people might feel that I didn't respond to their DM or something, and I always say I can't. I just can't. I can't respond to DMs, and it has nothing to do whether I care. I care a lot, but I
Right.
just I for myself, I've had to put up boundaries about how much I'm on my phone and how much I'm interacting in that way because of my own. We all should have that, or you burn out. And so you never know what somebody else has going on, why they're not responding, or so I think it's really helpful to kind of, when you're upset about something, to think, well, what if the roles were reversed and I was the other person, like
Yeah.
you, Sterling, like say, your situation with the cat camp thing, think, oh, if you were Jackson going about your thing and, being Jackson Galaxy, who's, I mean, he's above us all. He's like,
Right, right. Jackson is huge, and that's what helped me. That's what helped me understand, is because I'm still not at that level where Jackson is, but get with my platform growing, what I realized quickly is that I get it. Like I can
yeah,
understand how it take that long for somebody to get back to you, or if they couldn't at the time, because it's so much going on. Like now, since Shark Tank and the Drew Barrymore thing and Netflix, like now
So cool.
I'm like, it's so much stuff going on, and so many people will reach out and be like, "Man, I've been trying to get in touch with you for a couple weeks," or "Dang, you never even called me back about this thing that we was doing." And I'm sitting there like, "Don't you understand how busy I am? I'm sorry. Like, please don't take it
Yeah.
personal." But that's probably the same thing Jackson would be saying about me,
Yeah.
sitting in my feelings like, "Oh man, why didn't you reach out? Why didn't you do
Right.
this?" And it's like,
Yeah.
do you know how much stuff is going on that ain't
Yeah.
got nothing to do with your big head butt?
Yeah.
So,
Well, and it could be the same too. I know that sometimes just because of the relationships I have with people within rescue, I can reach out to somebody and they will respond to me because they have trust with me and because of the connection. But I know before I had those connections, if when I was just starting out in rescue and maybe I needed to get a hold of somebody that I didn't know, and then I had an animal that I was trying to rehome or something, a friend, and then the person doesn't respond, it's like, well, why aren't they responding? It's the same thing. It could be, you never know what somebody has going on ever,
right, right.
ever. And no matter what it is, it's kind of, yeah, unless you directly reach out to the person and if you feel like opening up that and saying, hey, did you you can flat out ask and like squash it yourself,
I
smush
mean,
it.
it would be better. I would say it would be better than to come out and just ask rather than to
Yeah.
quietly assume in any event.
Right.
But I would even just the approach, just taking the approach
Yeah.
in negative, I mean, positive. Like if you take it in positive, just try to find a positive reason before the negative one, I would say. Because, like in my situation, the first thing I did was think something negative instead of just thinking, somebody's busy, it's a lot going on. Did
Yeah.
so that the first TNR thing was so well, and now we got more TNR people to bring on. You know what I mean? It could be so many positive ways to view something, but if we start thinking negatively about it, then we already defeat ourselves, and then we hurt the mission. We hurt the mission.
Right. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah. And so I think that we just need to be a lot more honest with ourselves and what it is that's making us react to a way and actually ask ourselves, is this true? Did this really happen? Because we do, like, a lot of people tend to overthink depending on what's going on in their lives too. I can be when I'm not in the best of places emotionally, mentally, whatever, I tend to overthink a lot. Right now I'm not, but thank God. But again, I'm in therapy. If you
Ther-
get anything from
therapy.
our podcast, therapy, we Sterling and I are huge advocates for going to therapy
Yeah.
to deal with your human self.
Yes. And it will help with the work. It will. I'm
Yeah.
telling you, I've compassion fatigue, burnout. It is
Yeah.
something else. And I like we joke about it and say it a lot, therapy, but for real, it is
Oh
serious.
yeah.
It has brought me a long way as far as just life, but even just in animal welfare and rescue, because again, all the stuff that we talk about that need to be smushed, listen, it is serious. It's so much more, like what you was just saying, Shannon, about, is that really happening? Like, is that the
Right.
case? Like, when I hear people say stuff like, oh, this people over here abusing these animals, they doing this wrong, and they stealing money, and it's like, whoa, 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 slow down, is that really what's happening? Like,
Right.
are they doing something different, or are they really really over there abusing animals and hurting stuff? Like, calm down
Yeah.
with overthinking. Just wait a second, because we'll build it up in our head and then it'll fly out our mouth. It's a lot of power in that tongue. It's a
Oh, that
whole
is
lot
for
of power in
sure.
that tongue. It's serious.
Well, that goes back to what we were talking about before when I was talking about, sometimes listening, but then participating in conversations that might not be building up of other people
Right.
or other situations, about there being power in words and power in what you talk about. So if you're going to be talking about something negative or, just assuming something, a lot of times you can make it happen. It reminds me of people that get like in relationships that think somebody's cheating and they're not, but then they make it happen kind of by
Yeah,
like
yeah.
by just assuming that it's happening, and then the person gets accused of it all the time. They're like, well, I might as well go out and
Yeah.
like
I
swipe
mean,
it on the.
I think it was a song like that before. I might as well had or something like that. Like
Oh
that's a
really?
real, yeah, that's a real deal. That's a real deal. But that's the power
Yeah,
of the tongue. Like
yeah,
you what my mom, you be careful what you ask for. You just
right.
might get it. You just
Well,
might get it.
yeah, and you create your own reality too, because
Yeah.
if you're Rolodexing in your mind all of these situations that are might happen, or you think this is the reason why, if you really want to know something, you can just go directly to the person and just say, hey, like, you didn't invite me, did I do something? And then
Right.
they'll say yes or no, and then if they say yes, then well, you're gonna have to
Yeah.
smush some other beef.
Right, right. But then it's an opportunity to smush it. At least it's out there.
Right,
But it's
right.
nothing. It's nothing's gonna come up just build it up in your head and
Yeah,
rambling along with it like that. Nothing to come from that. Don't
yeah.
push the beef, smush the beef.
And it's good too. I think it's always good to be direct with somebody rather than ruminate and think these are the reasons why. If you really are having an issue with another person, or thinking, maybe they are thinking some way about you, open up the
Then
conversation with the person.
and let that and this another, I'm glad you brought that up too, because I would say let that conversation and that approach with that person be positive. Like
Hmm.
your
Yeah.
body language, your tone, and those things matter, because I know I rescue with a lot of folks, and one of the terms that I hear all the time in describing somebody, a cat rescuer, is they real shoot from the hip. They're a shoot from the hip kind of person. They shoot from the hip,
Mhm.
and a lot of times that's mistaken. Like, it's one thing to shoot from the hip and be honest, to be real and genuine or direct with your approach. It's another thing to be rude with it. And you can be direct with somebody without necessarily being rude about it. And I think
Right.
that's one of the things that can hinder us a lot of times too, is like, okay, well, I'm gonna tell this person to their face. Okay, but already the way you say it, you're gonna tell them to their face. Why don't you just say, hey, I'm gonna sit down and have a conversation with this person? But if you come in like, yo, I'm about to tell them to their face, okay,
Hmm.
already that might get taken confrontational versus saying, hey, let's sit down and chat for a second, or can we chat, or such and such. One of the things that I like to do is I'll give a compliment or say something silly about myself before I even get into it, to just ease the
Yeah.
tension some, because your approach with that all the time, but you want to, being genuine, direct, and honest is good, but the way you come about it, the body language and everything, it could
Oh
be tough.
yeah. Right. And again, it's the same thing with what we were talking about before, Sterling. You're dealing with different people from different life situations, some people they might not like people at all, you
Right,
know. They might hate everybody except for animals, and that
right.
so it can be really challenging sometimes to have conversations, even if you are an open, try to be positive person like you and I,
and,
but
and
it
even
can
the
be really
day,
challenging.
the timing, you got to understand the timing too, because if anybody would have contacted me about almost anything when I was going through this plumbing stuff, probably wouldn't have been a good interaction, because I was already just ready to strangle camping world.
Oh my gosh.
but
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
at that time, like I said, I was mad at, so timing and stuff. And we got to understand, especially too with cat folks, like cat people, a lot of us are introverts, just so that within itself too, if you're dealing with cat folks, you probably want to be a little more understanding in that sense, because we are introverts. I might get anxiety just the way you run up on me. We like
Mhm.
cats out here.
Yeah. 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 That's true. That is true. So sometimes I feel like the rescues all need a therapist to be there, almost like a guidance counselor. Maybe that could happen one day. Each rescue should have like a guidance counselor, like when you're in school. And then if people are having problems with each other that are affecting the way animals are being cared for, or just you can have a hostile environment because people are just being nasty to each other. You need like a guidance counselor.
We're gonna get a guidance counselor to do a Smush the Beef tour. We're gonna do a Smush
Oh,
the Beef tour with a
oh
guidance
my
counselor.
gosh. Yes. That's what, well, you never know what might happen with our podcast. Eventually, you're going to
Hey,
come in the RV and you're going to pick me up in Big Smush, my big cutout. For those of you who don't know about Big Smush, Big Smush is a large cutout that I take to shelters or sometimes other, even businesses. I'll be in a hotel and they're really nice because like I like I used to work retail. I'm all about customer service. So if somebody's giving a good customer service, I'll bring Big Smush down. People love it because they get some verified count
that's
giving them
everywhere.
a shout out. But anyway, I usually take Big Smush with me to shelters or to cat conventions since Smush does not travel. But yeah, we could do a Smush the Beef same team
That's what
tour.
I'm saying. Smush the
Yeah,
same team tour.
have
Going
people
Smush the
come
Beef.
on and smush the beef with each other.
Right, right. Because it's a lot. I know it's a lot inside the actual
Yeah.
organizations, and then amongst other organizations, it's all over the place. And a lot of times, like what we've been saying, is it's a misunderstanding. It's a misunderstanding in your head, probably, or there's never been no communication. It's just on the outside looking in, assuming and coming up with the worst scenarios, and never having the time or taking the time to sit down and actually talk, discuss it.
Yeah.
You never know what it may be. Somebody, I don't, people can, you can have something blow up from somebody seeing, I think you scruffed that cat. Was you scruffing that cat? And from there, it goes into something totally different. It could have been an explanation, could have been avoided, but now we got a big old beef and a fight going on, and it probably wasn't even nothing. I think
Right.
Smush the Beef tour.
Yeah. And
Hey.
we aim high. We aim high here.
That's what
We
I'm
do.
talking about. So, before we get out of here, because it's like I don't want to stay on too long, because we'll get to going. We might have to have a after party after this.
Oh yeah. We did
But
last week, our first recording. Sterling and I were on we were on Zoom for like 4.5 hours. But that was the first time, but because we were talking before and
yeah,
then we recorded and then we ended up talking afterwards because we're starting out. We want to do a good job and we always have something to talk about. So
a
we're
ton.
always we're always smushing beefs, not with each other, but just we talk about situations because we are around a lot and people tell us things. I know people tell you things just like they tell me things.
Mm,
And it's so interesting because I feel that people are more apt to tell me things about others but not about the animal. But I mean, it's always animal people just because
yeah,
that's usually where I'm around. But yeah, it's just, it all goes back to the human interactions and having open communication. And I know people talk to me because I am a communicator. I mean, my job at where I work full time, that's my job. I work in communications. But just in general, I know that I am a big communicator and I don't shy away from conversations that might be difficult just because I feel that's the only way you can resolve things.
yeah.
But not everybody is that way. So we're hoping that maybe some people might want to come on the podcast sometime and have a conversation about something that is bothering you, maybe even with the person. You guys can talk to each other.
Yeah, that's the whole thing, and that's why we were saying today it would be, well, the second episode, it would be good for us to come on and talk about some of our issues and smush some of that beef, because hopefully going forward we can have we'll be able to share the link. We always share the link on the Patreon page like we did with this one, but hopefully have some people come on, talk about some stuff and get it off. I mean, get it off your chest and get it out in the open, because a lot of times, like we've been saying, it's probably a misunderstanding or the fact that it just hasn't been discussed at all.
Yeah, I like that you just said that, Sterling, about getting it out in the open, because that's the thing. When you speak something out in the open, and if you're having a problem with another person, to actually talk, not in a way that, like you were saying before, shooting from the hip, like
Right.
coming at you, like, coming at you like Smush hissing when she doesn't want to be bothered. But just opening up those lines of communication with somebody else, at least can get it out, rather than you're just stewing in it, because the
Right.
more that you stew in something and the more that you keep it in your head, it will make it worse for you, but then also it doesn't solve anything.
Nothing. And I hope everybody listening to this right now, I hope you are taking a second. My rescue peeps that's listening to this, I hope you taking a second and think seriously. Are you at that point right now? Are you at a disagreement or having a grudge with somebody else, another rescue or rescuer, that you haven't even discussed it yet? Like, like,
Mhm.
so basically, you feel a certain way about a rescue or a rescue, but you all haven't even sat down to talk about it, to even know that if your reason for being upset is real, or if they feel that way about you. Probably not. Probably not.
I
I hope.
feel, oh, that's so, when you said that, it's so crazy, because it is true. It's you don't even know what somebody's thinking. They're
Right.
probably like Jackson Galaxy had no idea that you felt like that.
Right.
Probably till now, if he listens to this. But
He probably Jackson probably listen to this right now and like, what?
about even happening.
Yeah, he has no idea. They
Yeah.
he probably like, wait, what? We cool. So
Right.
yeah,
Right. Yeah. So
that's something that I think if we can sit and look in the mirror and ask ourselves that, you would be surprised. Because a lot of times it's not, like I said, that beef was in my mind. It didn't have nobody else in that beef. I was smushing that
yeah.
beef with overthinking and something totally different because it wasn't, probably wouldn't even know.
Right. Yeah. Communication. It's so important.
Right. We gotta get
Uh,
we gotta get some shout outs. I got a couple folks want to highlight in rescue. I had more. Oh, gotta holler at Community Cats podcast. Stacy LeBaron always got some, and Neighborhood Cats always got some good stuff going on. They be doing TNR certifications. Um, Community Cats podcast and Neighborhood TNR. Got to check them out. Always doing good TNR stuff. Flatbush Cats.
oh, they're
Out.
so good. They're
Oh
so good.
my
I follow them.
goodness. Yeah, who do everybody? I mean, if you're not following Flatbush, you got to follow Flatbush. I love them to death. Eccentric Essences. Well, Eccentric Kittens now. Let me get that right. She changed the Instagram handle. Eccentric Kittens. She's always fostering and doing good. I actually got to hang out with her and the care organization when I was in Camden, New Jersey last year. So got to give a shout out to them. And who else? I could go on forever. I guess I want to just say shout out to everybody that's doing it. Everybody
Yeah.
that's doing it, everybody that's trying not to overthink, everybody that's trying to be a part of the solution.
Yes. I have a few shout outs too, as far as people that are using their social media to help animals find homes. The itty bitty kitties, they her name is Sydney. She's a foster for 405 Animal Rescue in Oklahoma. I actually have been working with them to try to find their cat Wanda, who's been in a foster care for a year, a home. And it's pretty cool to see people using social media the right way for animals. it's so powerful. I mean, that's how I found Smush is online, you know. I saw her picture and you just never know who's going to see it. So shout out to you, Sydney, Itty Bitty Kitties, and 405 Animal Rescue. You're doing a great job. Also locally, What the Feral, her name is Stephanie. She actually works for Operation Catnip. She's been doing all of these time-lapse videos of cats that she's trapped and then releasing them, and it's amazing. I shared one the other day from Smush. So Stephanie, you're doing a really good job with using social media that way. It just makes a huge difference. And then who else? I have to shout out I never can say it right.
Oh, yeah.
Catastical Meows again. Lil Chris and his mom, Erin. Hello. Last week they listened to the episode and Lil Chris made a comment to his mom, who then told me that he wants to talk about compassion fatigue among young people in rescue. So we hope that you'll come on our podcast sometime, Chris, and talk about that and your experiences with that sometime. So, but I just wanted to give a shout out to him because he's a young guy out there doing the fostering kittens, has been doing it for the last 3 or 4 years now.
Yeah, little Chris been around for a while.
Yeah.
When I first met Chris, he was pretty short. We gotta call him Big Chris now, because the
Big
last
Chris.
time I saw him, we were at the Cat Cafe Lounge in LA, and me and Nathan, the cat lady, and Maruva, we was out there doing a
Oh
food
yeah.
giveaway, and Chris came out and helped us. And I'm telling you, he's about the same size as me now. I can't call him little Chris no more. That's the dude.
I wanted to also thank Stephen Ray Morris out there for helping me with my pod closet a little bit. He gave me the idea to put all these stuffed animals in here, which I'm not going to pull anything because they'll all start tumbling down. But hopefully, obviously, we're in the middle of recording, but hopefully it'll sound better this week. So thank you, Stephen. Stephen is the host of the Purrcast, Purr with 3 R's. So I have been on that. Sterling, you've been on the Purrcast, right?
Yeah. I've been on there.
Yeah.
I've been on there with Steve and them a few times. It's been pretty fun. I love they set up, and that was one of they going there and seeing they set up was one of the things that got me moving and thinking about, oh man, a podcast. This is so dope. They just sit around and talk about all of this cat stuff. That's what got me going. Like, how can we do something like that could be helpful and
I love Steven. He has a million podcasts. I always in the beginning I always fangirled over Steven because of My Favorite Murder, because I used to listen to that when it first came out, and they always are like Steven, and then I realized Steven is a cat person, and then we became friends, and so now it's so funny because it's Steven, but he's such a good guy. I love you, Steven.
Yeah, I love, shout out to Steven, because we hung out and I didn't even know. I knew he was the Purrcast, and then we were hanging out, and then we was out walking somewhere and people kept stopping him. I was like, man, like the Purrcast is really big. He was like, "What's from my show, My Favorite Murder?" And when he explained that, I was like, oh, I didn't even know.
Yeah, you were telling me that when we were talking last week, and that's so funny because you didn't know about that podcast. So you're with Steven and people are calling to him.
I'm just walking down the street with a celebrity and not even knowing people talking to him. And I'm like, man, this guy's like, who are you, man? What don't I know about you?
It's so funny. I know. You never know. You never know who. I mean, everybody is wonderful. Oh, you've got the sticker.
Yeah, I want to show everybody. If you just listening, you can't see me holding up the same team sticker with the cat on the side, but you'll see this sticker somewhere everywhere. I've been posting them all over the place. Click the link, bring you right to the Patreon page to come chat with us. But you'll be seeing this everywhere. I'm posting them. I'm like, bam, 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 all over the place.
I've got them too. I forgot that I have those iridescent ones. So those stickers, I created those last year, but before we even knew this was going to be a podcast. Right. So weird. I remember sitting on my porch. It was before you came here, and then I don't know. That just happens sometimes creatively. It was just like, blah, I'm going to do all this stuff. And then I'm like, here, Sterling, I made this sticker. And the cat on the sticker is from the Working Cat program years ago from Operation Catnip, because I take pictures everywhere. And I forgot that cat's name, but the cat is immortalized on our Same Team podcast
Right.
sticker.
It's a
So,
cool sticker though. I like it. I'm telling you, I'll
yeah.
be posting it everywhere. It's stickers all over Asheville,
Yeah.
throughout Atlanta, probably some in Camden, New Jersey.
Yeah.
You'll see Same Team everywhere.
Yeah, I
But
put some in when I was in California. I put some in Puerto Rico. Where else did I put it? Here in
Puerto
Gainesville.
Rico, holy crap.
Yeah, they're in
That's
Puerto
dope.
Rico. So it was Puerto Rico last year. Puerto Rico, I put some in San Francisco, and then I guess that's in Massachusetts too. I put them in Boston.
Oh, okay, Boston. I think I'm gonna be putting some in Baltimore soon. I'm headed out there.
Yeah.
I'm headed to Baltimore soon. I gotta find a date for Project Runway to show your Southside
Oh.
event coming up. It's gonna be pretty cool. Yeah. Yeah.
You can have take Demita on your shoulder
Right, right.
as your date.
I'm surprised she ain't came down here. She up there in her little the little her little backpack. Demita. She like whatever.
I know
So
Smush left. She was
she
here before. I don't know. Cats do what they want.
and Alanis, oh my goodness, don't even get me started on Alanis. That we're gonna have to say that for the next episode because Alanis ran off the RV and almost had a heart attack. But
Oh,
we'll save that for
save
later.
that for another time.
Yeah, because that's a
She was.
whole nother deal.
Well, we are really happy that you guys tuned in, and I hope that you gained something from us sharing our own issues that we have on the inside that contribute to maybe not so positive Same Team stuff if we ruminate about it.
Right,
So,
right.
what communication is important.
Communication.
Stop overthinking.
Stop overthinking.
Don't spill the tea too much.
Right. Don't spill the tea. Just kindly directly speak with somebody rather than spilling all the tea all over the place.
Spilling that tea all over the place.
It's just all over, just making a mess with it. Don't do that.
You got tea all over, like
Right,
tea's
right.
like all coming down. But see, that's the thing. We're human beings. It's not all the stuff we're talking about. We're all every human. We all have insecurities. We all have ways that might not be the most positive way to be. Like we all have toxic traits. Nobody is
Yeah.
perfect. So, but if you want to help animals, or even if you just want to get along on the earth in a more peaceful way, communication, getting to know one another, that you don't have to like that person. Again, you don't have to like, there are people that I do not like, but I have to work with, and it's okay.
It's all
It's all
right.
right.
Get the job done though. That's
Get
the
the
most
job
important
done.
thing. Getting the job done. So
And then when you're done, if you need to talk to your trusted person and be like that right after, just but don't let it get in the way of doing something good. I guess that's the whole point, is that I know that it's difficult because I've experienced it myself, where I'm like, I don't want to go to that place because that person is such a jerk, but
right.
you gotta, it's that whole thing of checking your problems at the door. Like you do sometimes, but if you've got something really going on, if it's a continuous issue, open up a conversation with the individual you're having a beef
Yeah.
with.
Open it up with a kind
With a,
approach. So important, the approach. Because I had to learn that coming from rap with
oh
my
god.
hands. You talk and you move your hands so much, and it's like your approach and your body language means a lot. So I'm always big on that. Approach, body language needs to be kind
Yeah.
and respectful as well.
Yep. That is the way. Look at that. Look, I'm in the closet, so I've got this here. Do you
What is
see
that?
what it says?
We are family. That's dope.
It's a
What
look.
are those?
It's a cat.
Oh,
It's a cat slipper that I didn't even know is in here, and it says "We are family" on the.
that's dope.
I'm like, what else do we have in Shannon's closet? Hold on. I got it. This is the ending of our podcast. It's just ridiculous. Whatever.
Y'all gotta see.
Look at these. Look at these shoes. Cat shoes.
For the people that can only hear and can't see right now, y'all gotta see Shannon's shoes. She is going through cat shoes in the closet.
Oh my God. Yes. For those of you who are not watching the video, I am pulling out random shoes and slippers that have cats on them. The one slipper said "We Are Family" on the bottom, and then I had these really cute flats that I didn't know where they were. So I'm like, oh, I'm gonna wear those this week.
I did that the other day, found some shoes. I was like, oh man, I ain't wore these in a minute.
Yeah, I love it. I've also got, for those of you listening, I'm holding up a pair of roller skates right now.
Oh, those some dope skates.
I'm gonna smush some beefs when I'm out. Hopefully I don't crack my head open. But...
Smush the beef, not your head, please.
Yeah, exactly. while being kind and trying to spread love.
While being kind. Y'all, we about to get out of here.
Yeah.
We appreciate y'all for coming. Next week, we gonna be, I don't know, we gonna be discussing all type of stuff. I got a few different topics, but we gonna probably hit y'all with a poll and see what y'all thinking. So until then, peace and love, y'all. We will holler at y'all later.
Bye. Have a good week.
Peace.